Hi, everybody. Happy summer. Welcome to live music presented by me. Actually, it's live lunch break. It's been so long since we've done any of these things, I don't even remember. I think Gerald Ford was president the last time we had an episode of Live Lunch Break. My name is Rick Coster, and this is the Day.com's special thing we do. Glad to have Caleb Bailey back with us. It was almost 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Yeah, almost.
Almost 2 years ago that Caleb moved here from corn country, Nebraska, to take over the reins. He's the executive director of the Eastern Connecticut Symphony Orchestra. And that suggests there's a connotation with that, I would think, that people think you're going to play
Some
Mendelssohn
yeah,
or
no,
something.
not
But
gonna
you're
happen.
not. Very, very good, clever pop songwriter. Is it fair to say that? You might not say.
I don't know if
you're
I
very
can
good.
say
I
that.
like
I like you
singing.
saying that, though.
But I would call it pop music, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. And he works with some excellent open tunings and some chord structures that I think you'll find very entertaining. And also, we're going to have someone that's kind of a special guest here too.
That's
I'll let
true.
you handle that when he
Let's
gets
build
here.
the suspense.
Build the suspense.
Yeah, mystery special guest.
So we're glad to be here in the Telegraph Record Shop, and thank you guys for being here. And give a warm welcome, please, to Caleb Bailey.
Thanks, guys. Finding out now, finding out how it is so daring to know my bearing, circumvent doubt, learning all about how much I'm caring for you. There's no sparing the best part of me is every part in which you believe. The best things I do is everything I do that's true to you and what you see. And whatever, and whatever, and whatever you need. Hear your heart now, feel it pressed down, holding me steady. I'm hoping that I'm ready to lift it up now, keep it off the ground. Your love is heavy. I'll hold it as long as you let me. The best part of me is every part in which you believe. The best things I do is everything I do that's true to you and what you see. And whatever, and whatever, and whatever you need. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me back, Rick. People at the Day, all the wonderful tech people behind the camera, behind the audio, to the Telegraph Records, to Rich Martin for hosting this. It really does take a whole community to make cool stuff happen, and I know that as an executive director of a symphony that there's a lot of moving parts. And one of the coolest things I've seen since I've been here for 2 years now is the way that our community really comes together. So I want to thank everyone for the really warm welcome and for hosting such a really amazing community to be a part of. I'm really just glad to be here. So that first song was called The Best Part of Me because I couldn't think of any other more artistic title to it. So that happens to me sometimes. This next song is called Holly Won't, and it's sort of a tale, perhaps a warning of sorts. Everyone in the Midwest is always thinking, like, I want to go to California and make it. And everyone's always writing songs about California and the sort of cultural things that happen there. So this song is my response to that, throwing on some more fuel to the fire. Holly lives in an apartment in SoCal. She was drawn to this artistic corral by all of the images. All that they promised seemed great. Soon she found out that the people who guarded all the gates were so cold-hearted, their frigidness translated as dollar signs rushing through their veins. And dear Holly proclaims, everyone wants to say something smart about L.A. and the cultural abnormalities that lay out on the hills. They forcefully spill, covering the globe. Picture a girl mad at the world that dressed up plastic like a pearl. Everyone knows, still they pose when the red light glows. Holly won't. Holly won't be pounding pavement for screen time. She won't chat with the stars over white wine spritzers while waiting for the drivers to pull up to the curb. And Holly won't be hunting Hollywood actors. She sidesteps all the socialite raptors that sprint from their age witches, nipping and tucking at their heels. And she certainly feels like everyone wants to say something smart about L.A. and the cultural abnormalities that lay out on the hills. They forcefully spill, covering the globe. Picture a girl mad at the world that dressed up plastic like a pearl. Everyone knows, still they pose when the red light glows. Holly won't. So if you like what you're hearing, you can always go to calebbailey.bandcamp.com and hear the studio version of this number, which has a really nice fade out that's almost impossible to replicate live. So we'll just end it there. All right, thanks, guys. I appreciate that. So I've got a very special guest that's going to join me. Many people in the community know him. I'm going to announce now so you can walk in front of the camera. Steve Sigel from the Gard Arts Center is going to join me on violin. Let's welcome him up. I'm going to retune real quick, too. Probably both tunings here. All right. So this next little ditty is about an astronaut drifting into a black hole. I'm going to reposition myself a little here. So we have mostly on special effects Steve Sigel. And many of you know him from the stage of the Guard and all their wonderful productions. But you might not have known that he's actually a crackerjack violinist. He's really good. I'm very happy he joined me. So welcome, Steve.
Thank you.
All right, Space Cowboy. Checking in, Space Cowboy, Alpha Gamma 8, facing inescapable fate. A collapsing star off the starboard side convinces me to philosophize. Focus too closely and look into my eyes. Stare at the reflection as the planets go by. Soon, all the light will bend. What's left of me then? Of course, the curtain of the event. Horizon will obscure where I actually went. Play it, Steve. I know I shouldn't take it personally, but the part of me that does is doing so because this heartless singularity compresses me from side to side as time dilation plays tricks on your eyes. Body is fading, but spirits they rise. Soon, all the light will bend. What's left of me then? Of course, the curtain of the event. Horizon will obscure where I actually went. Take it, Steve. Sigel on the violin, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Thanks for joining me. A lot of great productions at the Guard. If you've never been, there's a pretty good symphony that plays there, and they host lots of other things too, so check it out if you've not yet been. Now I got a new one. I always do this to myself where I have a couple of new songs that aren't quite ready to go, and then the deadline sort of forces you forward. So this song is about video games, and if you've played video games before, racing video games, you know that there's an option where you run the track once, and then when you try it again, there's the ghost next to you, and that's your former self, right? And you're always trying to beat the ghost, and so I was thinking on this concept, and thought it'd be kind of rich material for a song, so this is where this came from. Round and round along the track again, catching up to all the frail when outlines on either side outperform. Old patterns can't predict your next form, predict your next form. So rev it up, the fix is in. Don't sell yourself the same old spin. Racing the ghost is all you're doing. Yeah, try to pass the shadow of your movements. Turn by turn, each time you make your mark, you can change what makes them light or dark. Toe the line or try to find shortcuts. Tire smoke clears, you find you're deeper in the rut, deeper in the rut. So dust it off and try again. Go take it for another spin. Racing the ghost is all you're doing. Try to pass the shadow of your movements. Yeah, racing the very much.
What do y'all think? Caleb Bailey here.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for coming out. I really like having people stand here. Usually you just think there's going to be a camera, but it's always nice the Telegraph has a lively crowd here. So glad you're all here.
Don't underestimate it. I think a lot of this is your draw here.
Oh,
Mister,
please.
So that's good.
It's the Rick Coster signature interview portion that people really come for. Am I right? Let's give it up for him.
That's embarrassing, but thank you, Caleb. Thank you guys for showing up for live lunch break here in the Telegraph. I am Rick Coster. This is Caleb Bailey, and we're glad to do this. The day has done live lunch break now for almost half a decade, and not sure how the future of it is going to wind down or carry on, but we're here today, and that's what's important. And Caleb, I sitting over here, I'm just mesmerized by your guitar playing because you may or may not know out there he's using a lot of open tunings and open string finger picking, and there's, you know, if you can learn right-handed finger picking technique, but you seem to be using something that's kind of distinct, like a common. From what I can see, tell us what your right hand patterns are. How'd you learn that? How'd you figure it out?
Well, I spent about 3 summers in Papua New Guinea. No, I'm just kidding. I've always been sort of an eclectic music listener, and that's really thanks to my parents. Shout out to my family in Lincoln, Nebraska. They had a really diverse range of music, which I think is partly why I was receptive to working in the field that I'm in right now. I heard classical, I heard jazz, I heard Bella Fleck and the Flecktones, I heard Stevie Ray Vaughan, I heard Stevie Wonder, I heard Prince, I heard electronica music. All this stuff was always influencing me. So when I went to approach playing the guitar, I really wanted to be able to bring a lot of that in. And also part of it is just because of my own ignorance. I never had formal training of any sort, so I taught myself guitar. In fact, one of the first things I did was when I got a guitar, I was 13, and I started moving these things around. And I was like, oh, cool, that's how you change the noise. And then my dad said, no, you have to keep those the same to keep it in tune. And I was like, in tune? Like, I didn't know anything. So I did play some traditional instruments in bands. So I played trombone in high school, but really it was all about the guitar for me. And I just taught myself. I did everything by ear, and then so it's not the cleanest technique, but I would say it's sort of a mix between finger picking and strumming. So when the motion needs, I'll start strumming with my finger, and then when I need something a little more intricate, I'll start picking a little bit.
It's very distinctive, and it sounds good. I think I can speak for all of us here.
Well, thank you.
You mentioned a lot of different influences. Talk about the difference between writing songs in what would be an EAD, GBE standard tuning, and the chord structures you have to write with when you're using this kind of tuning.
Sure. So where my songs really start, I'm usually starting off with the music. So I'll play something that sounds good to me, and from there, that's when the words kind of fall into place. So it's almost like Tetris, like there's little bricks falling down, and I already know what the words are going to be in a way because they're going to have to match a certain way that the syllables are going to fall within the music. So a songwriter like Bob Dylan, whom I really admire, and most songwriters do, he was the complete opposite. He wrote just journals and journals of songs and lyrics, and of course he was much more on the political spectrum, and I think he was doing a lot of activism through his folk music. And he was part of that whole scene in New York around that time, and it was a really interesting scene, and also one in which I draw inspiration from. I like to think of myself, when people ask, how do you play guitar, what's your genre, I usually just say folk. I usually say indie folk because it's just kind of encapsulates everything, and folk is music of the people, and I kind of like that. But for him, he starts with the words, with the choruses, and then he just goes and puts the chords over it. Not to belittle his process, but mine is completely different. So I'll start with, like, for instance, when I was doing Racing the Ghost, I just had that. That was it. And so from there, I think, I listen, and I say, what would be a cool place to go to from there? And I think it needs to go up high somewhere. So then I had those 2 fragments, and I had this other little ditty that I was doing that's actually in a completely different key. So this is in the key of C, and now it's like... So I sort of tricked the whole song, because then I launch it into a different key, which of course is modulation, and classical composers can tell you all about that, and I just do it by accident. So then I had to get back into my home base of A, so then I do... So I've got that little transition there. And I don't know as much about modal theory as other people, but I know when something works.
Right.
And so when I was like, oh, that's how I can put my one favorite riff together with those other two, and then we got something. Yeah. And from there, I get an imprint, a sort of a fragment of an idea of what this might be about, and that really helps me write the whole song. And so I've been thinking about Racing the Ghost for a while, and then this comes up, and I hear it, and I think, does that sound like Racing the Ghost? Yeah, that does. And then that's how the song gets written. And that's probably why it takes me 2 years to write 3 songs.
We're talking with Caleb Bailey, who is a very fine player and songwriter, and also the executive director of the Eastern Connecticut Symphony, and here on Live Lunch Break. And you also referenced being exposed to classical music as a kid, working full-time in the environment. How much does classical music resonate in terms of what you might bring to a song that you might not have 5 years ago, just based on the onslaught of what you're hearing?
Well, I like to say that I got a street degree in classical music. So when I started in Lincoln, Nebraska, I didn't really know Bach from Beethoven. And I became the music librarian and operations manager there. And because of that, I really got to hear the music 5 times before we would perform it at rehearsals. And I started soaking some of it in. And you know, I'd hear like Schumann's Overture, Scherzo, and Finale, and I'd think, wow, that's a great riff. And then I'd go home and learn it on guitar. And just by ear again, because that's the only way that I really like to work. But it's taught me to be more dynamic. And, you know, whereas before you just think, oh, I'm a singer-songwriter, I've got one volume, I try to give songs some arcs and some peaks and some valleys and a little something interesting to keep it moving along. And I can't say that it's infiltrated into all of my music, but it's infiltrated me and how I perform it. So even when I'm playing older songs now, I reinterpret them in a different way.
Right. It was very interesting to watch you and Steve together, because the dynamics did come into play. He would pick it up and you instinctively drop back, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. Plus you gave us the feeling that we were sort of, well, none of us are probably on acid today, but floating in space.
Raise your hand if I'm just kidding.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are floating in space.
Yeah.
Do you recognize that, Rich? I thought you might. So anyway, we are so happy to have Caleb Bailey here. We're so happy to have all of you guys here on a beautiful, more like spring or autumn summer day. So enjoy it, and I think Caleb's got probably 4 or 5 more tunes for us.
Something like that.
And thanks for joining us on Live Lunch Break. And again, this is Caleb Bailey.
Thanks for having me. This song is called Curb Appeal. My foundation, it is crumbling. Last weekend I held an open house, people were mumbling. He doesn't know about it, he doesn't know, no. Floors creaking like habits grown. I realize there's leaks and I see in me what has been disguised. And now I know about it, and now I know what builds me up is bringing me down. I never meant to keep this attitude hanging around. What pulls them in is pushing me out. I've never meant and never meant to let this become what I'm about. I'm checking the structure now for flawed design, inspecting my tendencies, try and change my mind. Let's have a go at it, let's have a go. Let's have a go. collecting the sidewalk stares from those millionaires. Collecting the dust is what I do in my lair. And now I show 'em how it, and now I show 'em what builds me up is bringing me down. I never meant to keep this attitude hanging around, and what pulls them in is pushing me out. I never meant to, never meant to let this become what I'm about. And all embrace the sound of the song, and all bare bones to all to redesign. I'm freaking my foundation, it is crumbling. And what builds me up is bringing me down. I never meant to keep this attitude hanging around, and what pulls them in is pushing me out. I never meant to, never meant. I never meant to, never meant. I never meant to let this become what I'm about. All right, thank you. Got another new one, so new I have to have lyrics here, so be forewarned. So this song kind of came about as a meditation on power of your own self to make your own decisions, which everyone has, of course, and sometimes called agency if you're in the communication studies field. And so I thought agency, that's kind of cool, and it's about hierarchy and things like that. And I thought, agency, there's the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency. So what if this song was about some sort of CIA drone, on the way to work? So that's what we got here. Another green light covered in red tape. I roll my sleeves up and do whatever it takes. Trapped up in gridlock and in that rat race, holster my own thoughts, stare at the clock's face. People don't tell me what to do. I'm in charge. The same goes for you. People don't tell me what to say. I'm the boss of me anyway. band of lovers, that's Virginia, directs my every day. Chasing the leads down alley or staircase, I've got a choice now to leave that trigger in place. People don't tell me what to do, I'm in charge, the same goes to you. People don't tell me what to say, I'm the boss of me Agency. Ooh, it's a fresh one. You know a song's fresh when you're not quite sure what happens next, and you're going to find out along with everyone else. But every song needs a rollicking outro, so I like to add those in once in a while. So back to firmer ground for me. This is from my first EP, and it's called Square Peg Syndrome, and it's just about that idea of not quite fitting in. This is a really old one, see? It goes the other way sometimes. That's the second verse. I'm gonna give you guys the real experience here. Glass and needles, I'm walking around on tiptoe. You say you understand, but your hand's on your hip though. I might seem a little dry from the get-go. There's life in me still, I need a little twist though. A geographic shift, so but it's continental drift, slow. This will never work in the shape I'm in. Round hole with the square peg syndrome again. I'm not comfortable in my own skin. Round hole with the square peg syndrome again. Past the bottles, I'm swilling like I'm at sea. I'm really such a joke, but no one seems to get me. If I seem a little shy, recommit me. Or my wallflower curse, well then chew up and spit me. Bones and all, it rips me into a masticated mess. I really should be leaving. This will never work in the shape I'm in. Round hole with the square peg syndrome again. I'm not comfortable in my own skin. Round hole with the square peg syndrome again. This puzzle ends if I rotate some more, but I can't. This mismatch keeps happening. I struggle to stay switched in, keep it positive mode. But after the fourth or fifth go, my hopes are dashed across the cliffs, because I know that this will never work in the shape I'm in. Round hole with the square peg syndrome again. I'm not comfortable in my own skin. again. Round hole with the square peg syndrome again. Me and the guitar didn't quite line up on the ending of that. We got some words later on. So this next song takes us out to space again. The song is called Rosenthal's Principle. And it's like a meditation on a really cool poem I read once. Gravity spins me sweetly through the dust of collisions long ago. Star clusters were dancing through our fields, ebb and flow. My core froze the day that you redshifted, backing away from me. All my latent life forms now return to dormancy. We're all of us, all the time, coming together and falling apart. I guess it's tempting to try to plot the path, but we're not Roxanne who'd want to be one. Orbits can be demanding, always waiting for things to come around. Seems like several light years past since we've shared common ground. They say we are ruled by forces unseen by the naked eye, and I say we have other sources, something we can't quantify. And falling apart. I guess it's tempting to try to plot the path, but we're not Roxanne who'd wanna be one. I'm thinking, I'm feeling. Our history's already played out, a scientific marble maze in the sky that we can learn about. I think I got one more for you. I don't know whose idea the set list is, but I'm ending with another new one. That's crazy. This song is inspired by wanting to go back home, which I used to live in Nebraska, and I always think of coming back there. And I do try to get back there at least twice a year. And I'm actually going back there this weekend, so I'm super excited. And perhaps that's what I was thinking when I put together this set list. But this song is called Coming Back, and it's like every single person is a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And I thought, I'm no different, so let's write a song about all the things that I am. I'm a satellite, I'm a red rover, analyzing rocks, can I come over? Someone didn't put the lyrics in the right order either. I'm a stalactite off the cliffs of Dover, chalk it up again, crimson and clover. I'm a boomerang coming back to you. I'm that song you sang when you were blue. I'm a pinball springing up hopeful, bounced around again, shooting for no ball. I'm a speak and spell, pull on my arm now. I'll spit out the words and let the sound out. I'm a hot balloon coming back to earth. I'm that forgotten song you just heard. Whatever it is, I end up becoming to you. Tell it to me when I have trouble finding the truth. I'm a rattlesnake, hissing and bearing, striking at the prey, ready and raring. I'm a rubber band, stretched too tautly, snapping at the hand, that's what they taught me. I'm a meteor, coming back for more. I'm a quiet song starting to roar. Whatever it is, I end up becoming to you. Yeah. Tell it to me when I have trouble finding that truth. Whatever it is, I end up becoming to you. Whoa. Tell it to me when I have trouble finding that truth. I'm a satellite, I'm a red rover. I'm a satellite, I'm a red rover. Thanks for having me, guys. Really appreciate it. Good to be back.
It's good to have you, Caleb.
Yeah.
Caleb Bailey, everybody. That was
Thanks,
some good
guys.
stuff, man.
I try.
So where can people find this?
Me or you?
Well, I'm going to tell them where
Me and you together?
together.
Maybe at a bar. I don't know. It's Thursday.
Probably. Where can they get some of your music?
If you go to actually, I'm on Facebook, so if you do a Facebook thing, you can look up my name and find my music page. I also have a Bandcamp, which has my debut EP recorded, so it's a full studio version of some of these songs. And that's pretty much where I go these days. I'm working on getting more concerts out in southeastern Connecticut area, but I've got this job that keeps me pretty busy. So,
speaking of that job you have, the Live Lunch Break is a free service for you people. You didn't have to pay to see Caleb, so
not yet.
Invest your money in a subscription to the Eastern Connecticut Symphony Orchestra, and I'll bet you'll be damn glad you spent the time and
Absolutely.
energy. So
We've
thanks for the work you do over there, man.
Oh, yeah. We've got an amazing season coming up. It opens on October 21st, and we have just the most dynamic soloists and an orchestra that keeps getting better and better under the baton of Maestro Toshiyuki Shimada. So
Tremendous.
If you haven't checked us out or been to the Guard, you can kill two birds with one stone and come on down to the symphony.
Is that soloist going to be Steve Sigel?
Yeah, I think he is going to debut with Zagunarweisen, was it? Yeah, so yeah, he's doing Zagunarweisen with us.
Thank you guys so
Thanks
much
again.
for coming to Live Lunch Break. On behalf of the day, I'm Rick Coster. On behalf of Rich Martin, your host back there at the Telegraph. Thank you all for doing it. Thanks again to Caleb. This is Peter and Tim doing it right in the house
job,
here
guys.
for us. And we're going to see what's going on with Live Lunch Break. Please keep paying attention to the day. We love doing it, and we're going to see if we can carry this forward. And you guys go out into the afternoon and have a safe 4th of July week. All right?
Thanks.